Uh, we're up! Welcome to the third episode of Skald's Tale Eclipse. Again, we just have to do a little bit of housekeeping. We do want to let you know that we at Skald's Tale do keep all kinds of stories on all kinds of mediums, including podcasts, this stream, as well as some creative writing as well. So if you're interested in that, you can join the Discord down below and ask some questions about any of the other projects we may do. But we do need to talk about our partners. First of all, we do want to take some time to talk about our relationship with TTRP Theater, and they have graciously allowed us to stream on their channel. So we do want to encourage that you go check them out. They do have a schedule down below, and go check out their other shows. They do some cool cult stuff. There is a superhero game running every other Tuesday, as well as some D&D stuff. We get the Covenant Pathfinder 2nd Edition spot, though. I think I was the only one who wanted to run it, but that's a different story. But we do want to thank our friends also at Tabletop Audio that provide our background music. We have Harry Skinnell who composed our theme music, and we have some incidental tracks from battlebards.com. We do have Gabriel Pickard who allows us to use his map sets, as well as we have Philip Wright this week who has given us the option to use some of his tokens. As well as Pathfinder for allowing us to use their kind of built-in character art for Roll20. But without further ado, let us run our opening sequence. Bad things happen in darkness. What is unseen is perhaps the most scary. Often I look out into the darkness and wonder what terrors await me. I often wonder during those early days what would happen without the protection of the light, and what would happen to the world. It was a fateful day when the world turned dark, when the flock of ravens appeared to distract us from the true horrors that were to come. The day the sun turned dark, blocking our only protective shielding. I remember the day well. People were initially okay until the weight of the consequences sat in. When dark things began to arise and unexplainable phenomena happened. Chaos ensued and people pointed to the kings and queens for answers. However, this was only the start. Creatures that only can exist in darkness made their way to the public eye, some with altruistic intentions and others with wicked plans. I am here to tell you the story of the day that the sun was taken from us and the ensuing weeks that followed. A story of heroes and villains that defined history. Please hear the story and hear the events that transpired during these foreboding times. For I have the true story, not the lies you may have heard. My name is Christopher Rondeau, and welcome to Skald's Tale Eclipse. All right. We pick off where we left off in our previous prologues. We have two sets of people. We have Misty, this sorcerer that has this weird events over the last couple days, this wound in her arm that seems to have healed. We have who is accompanied by this halfling wandering cleric of the sun god. And through the events of the Black Sun, they have come together through weird circumstances. They have met a demigod, and they have seen the destruction of a small village as the Grim Reaper reaped his revenge. You two are currently traveling up north to the Vagabond Forest, where you heard you are supposed to head to for some reason or another. There is something there that the Grim Reaper wants you to check out, sparing both of your lives to do so. You have about 4 to 5 days of travel, depending on what kind of pacing you want to take, until you arrive at the town right below the Vagabond Forest. It's called the Vagabond Crossroads. It is a crossroads town, about 20 or 30 people, but we'll get to that more just in just a little bit. You guys are traveling. Anything you guys want to talk about? You guys are freshly new acquaintances. You are dealing with a pretty traumatic event, and sometimes tragedy makes the hot heart grow fonder, and sometimes it brings out the worst of us to handle the situation. So, motorcycle. So what would you guys like to do? You had about 4 or 5 days. I imagine at the very least, Doc has some very basic travel supplies, things like a bedroll, um, and some rations. So you guys are, in theory, in okay shape to travel for a few days. Why don't we get into another character description, and we'll get right to it. Doc, why don't you describe your character?
Sure. Doc stands at. I know I wrote down his height, but he's not very tall. Like 3'4". He's like the size of a kid, pretty much. But he's a very finely dressed child. He has like a traveler's cloak that's been kept in decent condition. He has uh no armor actually. Yeah, he's just wearing comfortable travel clothing that looks like it might have cost a little extra to have made. But he looks rather comfortable for it. That extra silver really paying off, especially now that things are probably quite a bit colder in the nighttime.
Mm,
He even brought a tent with him too. So
nice. I never know if players are going to purchase the tent. I don't
I
know where
do.
I was going with that thought, but there was a thought somewhere in that head of mine. Misty, why don't you describe your character?
Misty is of medium height and a medium body build, just a medium, wearing all black, carrying a black bag, um, and she the only like perhaps mark which makes her stand out from the rest of the people around her is her uh, painting on her one side. Um, she has black hair with gray ends. Hair are also medium length, so everything is just medium. Yeah, that's how she looks like.
Cool. As a quick reminder, the events that brought the Grim Reaper did also follow with a eclipse of some sort. And as you guys are traveling, I don't think an eclipse is a new phenomenon. I think you've seen, you know, or heard of one or two within your guys' lifetime, and many more throughout history. But you never heard one staying for more than a few moments. And we are hitting, I don't know when you guys want to have a scene, when you want to talk, but the daytime has the solar eclipse, and you can see the sun still move and something blocking the sun. But the nighttime is almost pitch black, and it's pretty cold. It is up to you guys how you want to handle this, but you have about four days or so to initiate a scene if you guys want one.
well, from my understanding, the two of them don't exactly travel on the best of terms. Kind of just a quiet understanding that they both are traveling in the same direction. So there's probably like a real separation of what they share, and they probably don't talk much either.
Okay.
Um, Let me think. Do you have anything to add to that?
I agree with you. Misty is not very talkative. She has too many things to consider. And so she probably would travel about few days in absolute silence unless Doc would speak to her. She is adjusting quite well to the coldness and perhaps even the darkness, since majority of the time when she was on her work, that used to be dark night, but not that dark night like it is, but still, she starts seeing the shapes, sight adjusts of the obstacles on their way. And yeah, but after a few days, probably, I mean, Misty wouldn't start a conversation unless Dog does. That's the thing. She's not a talkative person.
Doc is pretty talkative, so like eventually down the road he'd probably just bring up the fact that there's no sun. Be like, that's kind of strange. I don't think I have ever heard of that happening before.
So let's set the scene then.
Okay.
You are traveling along the road. You're heading out of Duskenvale. We'll say it's early day 3, and it's supposed to be high noon, and the sun is at its highest point. And as you look up and you start heading into the plains of the Kingdom of Million, there's a slight rain that begins to fall. Not anything that's hindering, but you can feel the mist in the air. We started at the 42nd of the month of Rakshasian, and we are heading into the 1st of summer, which should be tomorrow, the 1st of the Soul month. And there's something kind of ominous about this idea that we are about to enter the month that worships the god of the sun, but there is no sun that we see. And we'll start that. Maybe you're walking. I imagine you guys are at least walking side by side, even if you guys aren't having much small talk. But we'll start there. Take it away, Doc.
All right. I imagine Doc's walking probably slightly in front of her because he has dark vision, and her eyes have probably adjusted by this point, at least somewhat. But he's probably still more comfortable in the darkness.
Sure.
Walking along this road, he'll sort of look upward into the eclipse, not directly, mind you, but towards the eclipse, and offhandedly just sort of, I've never heard of anything like this happening before. Seems a bit strange, doesn't it?
It is definitely strange. But even that creep who has been talking to us previously a few days ago and who told us to go north, and we are now just going north because he told so, that's also creepy. Everything is creepy right now. Good for business, then I think about it though, but creepy.
I'm not certain what manner of business might flourish unless it was... Nope, nothing comes to mind. But be that as it may, certainly there is something going on here that might be, perhaps at the moment, beyond our understanding.
Well, you're stating the obvious. What are you offering to do about that? Beside the fact that we are going north for a known reason.
Well, I suppose really I just wanted to mention it to make sure it wasn't just happening to me and I was going crazy.
I mean, you are crazy, that's a fact. But yeah, I see that too,
It is a crazy time. Perhaps it is time we all get a little crazy.
I wouldn't say so. But maybe. I don't know. But anyway, listen. I'm not even... Like, what you were even actually, like, doing back there when all this happened. Like when I think about that, except this creepy guy, whom, by the way, you didn't seem to be that scared of, and you, nothing else stands out for me from that day. perhaps kind of like, I don't know, I'm like really what have you been up to?
I've only been traveling. I was inspecting the woods the same as those guards that found us.
But I haven't seen someone like you in there. Like,
Well, no, I was traveling through. I had arrived just not even a bell before going into the woods.
but you're like, I mean, I've never heard that you guys would be like a travelers.
You guys? He questions, sort of glancing over his shoulder.
You know, like, I get it. Like, you know, dwarves, they travel, elves, they travel. Like, you, I mean, I'm not used to that. And I mean, you're like, not like, it's.
'Tis the calling of my god. I am to go where I am needed.
So, are you saying that you also have been told by someone that you have to go north before?
Well, I don't think they've ever specified north, but if I was a more esoteric sort of person, I would call what we just experienced a very strong sign.
Well, I do not believe in signs. I believe in facts. And the fact is that I don't know what the fact is now.
And here we are.
Well, do you think it will take a while? Because I actually have many things to do. Like, I have quite a list.
Well, if you're in a hurry, then we should pick up our pace.
Guess so. It's really strange. That's not what I do, but I can't go back. You know, I guess you understand. That's why I'm going forward, because I can't go back.
Certainly.
Good. But do you understand also that we are not friends, right? We're just going the same direction, right?
As you wish. We may call it whatever you will.
Okay. Good.
Seems like a good place to stop put
As
scene.
you walk in silence for the next 10 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you guys begin to do that. You kind of shake your arm a little bit, Misty. Just kind of twirl it around. Like there is like a soreness, and there is like a small sense of muscle atrophy. And but you're kind of stretching out. You're regaining feeling. Like you have full range of motion, but it is still just kind of bothering you slightly. I'm apparently a method actor. I have to touch my shoulder every time I talk about it. But we'll cut away from there. Demira and Borg, you are traveling from the capital city of Kolor, skipping your wedding to head to this divine task that you seem to have been given. Borg being aware that they have an elven friend not too far behind them, just sort of keeping an eye out. Let's go ahead and get some character descriptions real quick. Bork, why don't you start, please?
All right. I have two characters to describe. First is Borkias. He is rightly named a mountain because, as previously stated, he is as tall as you can be for a medium creature. He's currently wearing his full chainmail armor, which on his chest, his tabard holds his family emblem, which is a silver compass with a dagger going through it, I believe, because it's the silver compass and dagger, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And next to him, following to the left and behind by several steps, is his servant, his house aide, I guess you would call her. She has a hood up, so you can't quite see her hair except at the shoulders where it's kind of just barely dipping down past the hood. You can see the golden hue. Her eyes, if one looks closely, are slightly unnatural. They almost look feline-esque in nature. She's currently carrying an adventurer's backpack that is jingling about with supplies and has a pair of pup tents tied to either side of it. Normally, the pump tents are one for him and one for her, but now what's happening is he and his lady would be in one each, and then she ends up having to sleep in a bedroll next to the fire. This does not make Bork happy at all, and he's going to pick up another tent soon, so that all three of them have a tent. He's carrying on his back a giant blade, impossibly large, which is called Death's Shadow, and is of historical importance to his house and to his city in which he dwells. So there's Bork the Orc.
And Demira, why don't you give me a character description?
Right. Demira is a half elf. She stands at about 5'7". She's in her 20s. She has pale skin, dark hair, and eyes. Her hair is a lot thicker on one side and hangs just below her shoulders. And she has a very demure and small, agreeable, submissive kind of air about her. She also has at her hip at all times her fortune-telling ball. If she's not carrying it, it is strapped into her belt.
When we say fortune-telling ball, is it like one of those clear balls that just kind of like fill up with mist, like that kind of
Yeah, it's a crystal ball. It's clear most of the time, unless she's doing a reading.
Yeah, I have a vision of what's that movie? David Bowie in Labyrinth, where he's just kind of like playing with the crystal ball, and that's tangent. All right. So you guys come from a certain amount of wealth. You guys do have the option to be traveling on horses if you want to. You did mention that perhaps your third companion was walking. We can get her a horse if you want. That's largely up to. I think Bork the Orc would probably have more power in this given situation. So what's your call there?
I would definitely say a pair of horses. I wouldn't want to go too much beyond that, but I would have her riding with his fiance. So the two women are riding together on one horse, he on the other.
Okay.
And so that way there's not three horses to have to take care of, but yet at the same time no one is walking. Yeah.
Okay. Your travel time is about on horses specifically. You have about 2.5 days to 3 days or so to get from the capital city of Kulor to the capital of Sindra. Now, if we look on the map, we see to the northeast of Kulor, there's this small forest here. The town that you're heading to is small enough to where you don't it's not placed on the map, but at least you guys would know it's there. That is your general direction. Both parties technically will be arriving in the evening of the first day of the month of Sol. Would you guys like to do anything on the way there? you mentioned picking up a tent. I think we can do that off camera if you want to just pick up a tent for your companion. But
As at some point he would definitely. I don't think they'd be able to on the way there now, but
okay,
but when he can, when he gets into the next town, basically.
sure.
But beyond that, I guess do a little bit of talking. Yeah.
Sure. About the second day of traveling, it is starting to rain. Just a slight drizzle. It's not threatening your health or anything like that. It's not impeding you, but to create some ambiance, we'll have that. And we do see the eclipse that seems to persist. What is the scene?
This
you want to
eclipse
set up?
doesn't seem to be fading away. I have a feeling we're entering into a new age. Should be good, though. New is always good. Don't you think?
That's a very optimistic way to look at it, I suppose. To me, it seems like a bleak, well, foretelling of what is to come.
Nonsense, Bleak? No. I mean, look, you can see some of the stars. I always enjoy night. I mean, I'm sure the sun will eventually come back out. For now, we can enjoy the beautiful scenery. Yes?
She smiles a little and glances at the sky, and nods. I suppose.
Listen, when we get to where we're going, there's no real need to talk to me in an official capacity or anything like that. You don't need to call me Lord or, just Borg, yes?
Are you sure? Wouldn't it be inappropriate?
No, not at all. After all, you'll be my wife someday, assuming that's still what you want. So calling me Borg is good. Besides, I found carrying around a noble title when in small towns can be more than a hindrance than a help, so there's no real need for anyone to think that we're anything more than a pair of travelers.
Right. Of course, you have a very good reason. I'll address you as Bork from now on.
Good. All right.
And that's all he'd really, small talk along the way, get to know his new friend / betrothed.
Yeah. So as we begin to continue on to this small town, both parties will enter into what will become the evening. It's really hard. You can see that the sun is setting, but the change from day to night, the only thing that really signifies it is just blackness, and both parties can see torches being lit, lanterns, those sort of things of fires and candles approaching this rather small town. We are in a place called the Vagabond Crossroads. It is a small area, only about 30 or so people here, 30 to 50, somewhere in that. It houses a few rangers that sort of take care of the forest to the north. It has a few buildings. It has what we are going to refer to as multi-denominational church, which doesn't worship a specific god, though you would imagine that the cleric, priest, or preacher probably has a a certain preference to it. In the distance, you can see 3 pretty prominent farms, and as well as a windmill, as well as a building. The nicest building is going to be the first building you'll see to your left. It appears to be some sort of inn of some sort. It is most of these buildings are 2 stories, but this inn seems to be taller than that. It has 3 and an attic, and you do see the sign Cedar Inn kind of swaying in the wind, just kind of this wooden sign that creaks. Rain gets a little harder when you arrive. It is already kind of disrupting the bad vision you're already getting, just kind of being in pure darkness. I know a handful of you do have low light or dark vision. I'm not quite sure the proper term for this edition is, but even with that, we are getting into just light obscurity of anything in the distance. When you guys arrive to this town, you guys are just partially wet. I don't want to think you're drenched yet, and you guys probably do have protective clothing of some sort, but it's pretty miserable, and it's pretty cold. First thing you do notice as you enter in, we are having Bork and Demir entering in to the left of town, and Misty and Doc will be entering in from the right.
All at the same time?
I think that since I think the way I want to do this is Bork and Demir is going to enter in first, but Doc and Misty can see the horses come in. This probably happens about a mile outside of town when Doc and Misty see the horses. But, when you're on horses, you're getting there much faster than the 2 people walking. So
Right.
we can have a scene where you overtake them and you like wave to them on the road. But if there are no ideas here, then we can just kind of move forward.
Yeah, I mean, if because we're coming in from a different angle than them, so I don't know that we would we overtake them?
I mean, the town is very small, so like you can yell on one side of the town and you can hear someone else on the other. So while you may be just taking like a slightly different dirt road, and it's not completely out of the ordinary to want to have a scene.
I don't know. I think if we would pass them, yeah, we would pass nicely. We would keep to the side, not run them over or anything like that, and just a very passing, gentle good day or good evening, I guess, would be appropriate. And then once at the end, I would tie off the 2 horses, help the 2 ladies down, and that would take a bit to do.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Okay. So, does anyone else want to do anything with this interaction, or we cool just to move forward?
Doc would probably just make some comment as they passed about bravely riding horses in the dark.
Yeah,
go
Sorry.
ahead.
Yeah, no, from Mr. would be just a kind of snarky, perhaps, comment about fancies, because she doesn't like people like, horses and stuff. That's fancy traveling. She probably never had a chance to ride a horse in general. So.
Sure. Okay. Demir, do you have anything? It looked like you were about to say something. Maybe I was making that up.
No, generally Demira is keeping to the background, following whatever Bork does, and just being agreeable.
Got it. You guys, Bork the Orc enters in, and you can see kind of a stable that is behind the inn itself. And there is a stable person there that can help sort of, and I'm sure you want to like take, make sure everything is set, but the stable is it's agreeable. It seems to be pretty clean. It seems to be pretty set. They do have a fresh set of hay and grain that could be eaten. But this kid that you're looking at just seems rather sad, I guess. Like there's just a sense of dreariness as he stands out in the rain and trying to take care of your horses. And that's rather the same ambiance that we get as we entered in. We see just this grimness within a lot of the people here. You can look through windows. You can see people kind of eating very, very quietly by candlelight. And we are pretty exclusively human here. And there are a couple people, but there's one kid specifically who is entering into the crossroads. And while Bork is taking care of the horses, Demir just gets this kid who just seems to be kind of tapping his foot, like everything is perfectly okay.
So this is not the kid that's standing outside in the rain?
No, this would be two different situations. Bork is talking to a sad stable hand. This is a person who's just kind of there.
Can I help you with something?
Huh? Well, oh, hi. My name is Randy. Oh, we have guests here. We don't get guests very often. No, I am doing great. Unless you have any candy.
Any what?
Yeah. There are these things that you get. They're like hard things. You can suck on them, and they're sweet, or sometimes they're sour. We don't get them very often. They have them in some of the major cities. Do you have candy?
She shakes her head. Unfortunately, no. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm Randy. I am going to be the best musician to ever walk the land once I get old enough to leave this town. Who are you?
My name is Demira. Nice to meet you.
Oh, that's great. Demir, well, what brings you here? What, you sure you don't have any candy? I can really use the sugar.
I have money. You could buy candy?
Oh, we ran out of candy. Last merchant who came here like 2 weeks ago, but that's fine. But why are you here if you're not here to trade?
Oh, we're passing through.
Do you know where the sun went?
Well, I no, but I assume it has something to do with either the gods or some event that is to come.
Bah, sounds too dramatic for me. All right, thank you. Good there. I will be getting ready my next set list for the future of Randy the traveling what's a good title? Randy the traveling
Rascal?
Rascal. Randy the Rascal. That's me. All right, and he like runs off. He like skids on the wet ground a little bit and kind of slides, but he regains his composure. You can see him blushing a little bit and heads around the corner.
Demira gives him a kind of confused look and then goes over to Bork.
We'll say that he's done with the horses at this point.
The only thing I would do different while she was talking to that little boy is probably try and cheer this one that I'm with up. So I'm gonna attempt to cheer him up, give him a couple jokes, and I'm actually going to just to really cap out that is tip him an extra 2 copper pieces.
Ooh. If only there was candy. You look at him and he goes like, "Oh, thank you." Yeah, I will say he's a little older than Randy. I will say he's like 13 or 14. You know, not quite kid, but not quite adult as well. Somewhere in between. He goes like, "Oh, thank you. We'll put this to good use." Kind of looks up as the sun is still setting. Yeah, we'll put this to good use. Are you here to get rooms? You can see my sister inside.
Yes, we're gonna stay for a little while. I'm not sure how long, but while we're here, I'll make sure you get good business.
All right. Well, we'll serve what we can. We're worried about our crops, but you know, he's still looking up to the sun. Doesn't help that I have sun glowing on my face. It doesn't really quite create the ambiance. But I tangented again. But he's like, we're just worried about the crops, but we'll have plenty of food for guests, of course.
Yes, I understand. The sun's been gone for a few days. That could affect your crops, but I'm sure it'll come back soon. And even if not, some crops grow best at night. Might be time to switch.
Thinks about it, kind of gives a nice like, yeah. I think you're right.
My friend's coming. Yes, my dear. How is everything?
Fine. There was
Good.
a boy. He's gone now. His name was Randy.
Oh, Randy.
You don't like him?
Oh, he's fun. He just has very big aspirations for a very interesting interpretation of some of the old musical classics.
Interesting.
He doesn't quite sing, and he doesn't quite talk. It's like somewhere in between. It's well,
Unique.
it's a thing. Yeah.
That sounds like something I'd be interested in. Perhaps we should contact this Randy, pay him to play us music while we relax in the inn.
Oh, you don't want to give him an ego. I wouldn't pay him.
Sometimes egos can be a good thing. Shall we head in out of the rain, dear?
Yes, of course.
Oh, good. Just curious. How would you prefer I address you?
Whatever.
Oh,
you like
my name is
fine.
not talking to me.
Let's go one at a time. Yes.
He points to business character.
How shall I address you?
My name is Cedric Cedar. This is our inn.
He looks over at Cedric with somewhat amusement.
Yes. Nice to meet you, Cedric.
Then he looks back over at business character.
And you? Shall I call you by your name, or?
You can call me whatever you like. Whatever suits you.
Well, that's an odd thing to call you. Whatever suits you. All right. Well, whatever suits you. Let's head in out of the rain.
That's not... Oh, okay.
Come.
And
you're definitely a dad. That was definitely a dad joke.
And he starts leading her into the inn out of the rain.
Let's cut to Doc and Misty. Whoa, I had a brain fart. So you guys are entering from the other side of town. You look directly directly in front of you, and you can see the well. And there is a couple people around the well just gathering water. Let's go ahead and take this here. You can see the well here. Has a covering, and most people seem to be just kind of settling into the night. We see a couple of chickens kind of wandering the town, but nothing of interest quite here. Just a lot of people just kind of slumming around. You see houses to your left and to your right, just sort of residential buildings. The nicest building you'll see is going to be across the way, pinging here. This building does seem to just be in slightly better condition than the other ones, but what would you guys like to do?
Listen, Doc, that's your name, right?
Yes, that's correct.
This rain is annoying. We definitely need to find a spot. You think we should ask around if they have some sort of a corner, like, something not lived in anymore to, get a bit of a sleep before we continue?
Doc kind of turns his head and gives her a strange look and is like, are you suggesting that we just go squat in a house? I'm certain they have an inn.
I'm not spending my coins.
I don't even know if you have any coin.
That's not your problem if I have or not. I'm just not spending anything.
Well, that's fine. That's up to you. I'm going to go spend my coin to be comfortable in a nice inn.
No. You stay with me.
Oh, no, that's not the agreement. I don't think so.
Are you going to be like that seriously all the time? You were talking my ears off, and now you're just, no, we will separate here. What if you will run away? And I'm going north just because.
If I was going to run away, I would have done so long before now.
No, you wouldn't have, because I watched you. My eyes were on you, and now you want to separate from me.
My dear, if I didn't want your eyes on me, I could simply walk a good 30 feet in any direction, and I'd be gone from your vision.
Oh, you wouldn't. I have a great vision.
Be that as it may, I don't intend to A, squat in a house, or B, stay outside in the rain.
Okay. It's easy enough then. You pay for my place as well.
I will see that you can compensate for your room.
Does that mean you pay?
No.
What does that mean then?
So Doc will, instead of answering that question, find the nearest townsperson.
Let's say we'll say you see a we'll go with an older person because we've been having a lot of kids so far. Maybe 35 male, human. Seems to be a farmhand of some sort. Like short. I guess we're in this kingdom, so short, brownish hair. Pretty big tan. Just kind of sitting there, maybe smoking a pipe.
Isn't it raining right now?
Mm-hmm. So we'll say he's under like the covering
okay.
of one of those.
Okay. So normally Doc might be a little more tactful in his approach, but he just sort of approaches and goes, "Good evening. Does your town happen to have an inn?"
Well, if you go that way, there's a place called Cedar Inn. Rooms are almost always open. You shouldn't have too much of a problem.
Thank you kindly. And Doc will just sort of dismiss himself and head in the appointed direction.
Bye.
Yeah, he forgets that part.
Misty follows Doc.
So, looking at the map, he gives you probably better direction than just around the corner. But you head to the well. You head here. And this building right here catches your attention. Because as you kind of peer into the window, you do see a man who actually appears to be armed, and you do see that this is the church. There's also the graveyard right behind the church that's off the map. But I don't know how odd you would take to seeing an armored, equipped man. He's wearing like a chain shirt of some sort. Has a couple of bookshelves probably lined up with very large tomes of religious texts. Something that at least Doc would recognize as just sort of like church tomes by the decor of the place.
So is this armored person standing in the doorway? Do they have like a holy symbol adorned to them, or are they just like look like a warrior?
Depends how detailed you look. So you
Well, Doc will stop to inspect the church, getting an idea.
cool. He has the holy symbol of what appears to be like scales of balance. We'll think of it like that. Which is a like the scales and the I should have brought an image for this, but simple scales that represents the balance of the pantheon, or the entirety of it would be a better interpretation. Doesn't seem like he has a specific god's pantheon.
Gotcha. Well, Doc would probably slow as he came to the church and then look back at Misty, who walks past him, and goes, "All right, I might have a way for us to stay somewhere for free that isn't squatting." And
Great.
with that, he will approach this person, who he assumes is a clergy member of the church.
Yeah. How is this for a scales? Does that help the
Perfect.
imagery? Okay.
Yep.
So, thank God for free stock images. So you sort of enter in. The door is kind of creaked open. He's sitting there. You can smell some sort of vegetable stew being made. It's like, oh, welcome in. How can I help you? We normally have meetings at dawn, but it's been hard to kind of tell when dawn is, so we have meetings whenever people show up in the morning. What can I help you with if you're not here for that?
Doc will approach and give a little bow of the head and a tip of the hat and say, "A good evening. Me and my companion have only just arrived, and we're curious if you have space for a member of the clergy and their traveling companion."
We do have an extra room that's being unoccupied. What church do you belong to?
"I follow the Father, Son, Soul," he says, sort of like pulling the holy symbol from the traveling robes he has.
Kind of goes to the window, kind of looks up to the setting sun. It's like, well, it's been quiet recently, it seems.
Yes, indeed, and that is, I believe, has something to do with my travels here.
Well, you are welcome to stay in the spare room. Well, there's only one, so we have bedrolls for the second person, but otherwise, I can give you some stew. We'll bake some bread in the morning.
Well, I know I would appreciate that greatly, and I am certain that a bedroll is more than fine for my companion. Thank you for your generosity.
Psst. Psst. Doc,
Shh.
can you ask him as well if he has a few spare coins for some beer in the tavern?
Shh. Doc's just kind of like, shush, shush. No beer for you.
All right, so you guys get taken up to a pretty small room. We'll say it's like 30 feet by 30 feet. It does kind of have a bed and a chest and what it probably could be accounted to as a mismatched set of chairs to a table. So there's like one chair with like a long back and one with that's kind of wobbly on the side, made from different types of wood. Probably donated. But there is space for someone to sleep on the bed, someone to sleep on the floor, and a place for you two to eat. There's also a bathroom, so you guys can get hot water if you guys want to take a bath. Assuming that they can heat up the water, there is space for it, though.
Doc's been casting like prestidigitation on himself to dry his clothes and warm himself up.
Perfect.
So if she wants first use of the washroom, she can have at it.
We'll take that.
Okay. So you walk into this washroom. It just kind of has this wooden tub, and there is a mirror to the side. There are probably, I don't know, do fantasy worlds have towels that are regularly available? Probably. There's like a washcloth of some sort, and it would be pretty easy to get some hot water. We can kind of skip that process if you want.
Yeah, I think that we can just skip everything. Like she will just casually, quickly wash up and get out.
Cool.
For the soup, soup is very important. Like he said, he will give us soup.
Okay.
Worm soup.
Cool. So you begin to you get the water set up and you begin to undress, and as you begin to take off your shirt and you look towards the mirror, with steam kind of coming out of this tub, you just kind of get a glance of the wound that was there, and instead of the scarring that you were expecting, and you probably caught glances of it as you were traveling, but you see what appears to be just this skull tattoo, maybe about an inch. If we're thinking centimeters, about a centimeter and a half, or an inch, just kind of right where the arrow wound should have been. And you kind of stretch it out, see it, and it's weird because you look at it through the mirror, and as you sway left and right, it almost looks like the skull is always trying to keep eye contact with you. It's kind of like this, almost this optical illusion effect.
I'm very much unfamiliar with these things. So when I get out, then instead of the soup, I would like to approach Doug if he's somewhere like I can see him when I leave the room.
Probably sitting on the bed with some soup.
Yeah, we'll say that soup had two. They're not like huge bowls, but okay sized bowls of soup have been set to the table. You see one at the table for you, and if Doc wants to be on the bed eating soup, then he has one in his hand.
Yes.
It's like a vegetable soup. It's not very heavily spiced, and it kind of tastes like flavored water. But there are like chunks of vegetables, perhaps some chunks of like mutton of some sort. Not anything terribly fancy, but it's edible.
Okay, so when I approach him, I would like lean in, and I would kind of like, while I'm even coming closer, I would say, "Hey, Doc, I need you to look at something," and I would like move a side of my shirt, and I would lead in, and I would show him, look, do you see? Tell me you see that.
So Doc, he probably doesn't understand at first and like starts to lean away until he realizes that there is a skull. And he'd be like, "Oh,
But wait. Look straight into it, right? Like straight into it, right? And look. And I would start like moving. See, it's watching you. Like what the hell, all right? Like it's doing it, right?
I take it there's some sort of check I could make for this." Religion it is. And we're going average today, boys.
muted on stream. So this is part of the this is not part of the normal pantheon symbols. Normally, like, you'll see Sol, who has the sun, Persephone that has the flaming sword. This seems to be a symbol rather of the Shadowlands in its whole, the place that Morrigan and the Grim Reaper and some of the other deities that live in the Shadowlands partake in. So it's a holy symbol of a place, not necessarily a god.
Doc would probably give it some consideration, despite all her moving. When she goes to starts moving around, he's probably like, "Stop moving! I'm looking at it." And eventually comes back with, "It seems you've been marked with the Land of Shadow. It's considered a holy symbol in some places. Well, a holy symbol of a place, I should say."
And what does it mean? Like holy symbol and shadow and what? Can I get it? Like, can I scratch it off? Can I cut it off? I don't need that thing.
Well, I mean, you can try, but usually holy symbols do not simply appear on someone for no reason.
Oh, so it's because the other guy said that I am chosen or something?
Maybe. I don't know. Could be.
I mean, how can you not know? You say that you always know everything.
When did I say that? I claimed no such thing.
You sound like that. You look like that every time you make your eye rolls.
Well, we won't go into the things that you look like, okay?
I know.
Go eat your soup, he says.
How can I just simply sit and eat my soup? There is a school who is watching others on my shoulder.
So cover it with your shirt and it will be blind.
That doesn't make it disappear.
Well, I don't know what to tell you about that. Perhaps we
You
will
know
find our
things.
answer here.
You can ask him. Do you think he knows?
You could ask him.
I'm not talking to him. You
Well,
have
there
like
you
a
go.
thing with him.
A thing. A thing, yes. We are both members of clergy.
Yeah,
I'm certain he
so-
would answer your question just as he would mine.
I don't know. I'm not used to talking to church people.
Well, I assume you're also not used to being marked by the Shadowlands either. So which one's more strange to you at the moment?
Can't you just do the talking?
No.
I mean, I
Says
helped
going
you
back to
throughout
his
the
soup.
whole full way, and now you can't help me?
He's just gonna go eat his soup.
Oh God, he's annoying. I would go to the man.
Timeline wise, because she went to the washroom, got cleaned up, and everything else, they waited for them to finish cooking, then came out and had this conversation while eating. Bork, as soon as he gets the two ladies settled down in the inn, has every intentions on going to the church to pray. So I think right around here he might be showing up.
Okay. I'm making sure I'm not muted again. So you enter in and you see two people kind of sitting there at a table. There's another one, and another table open. And you see a younger lady, perhaps 17 or 18 there, just kind of wearing a very practical woolen dress, has an apron there. She is mixing some stew. You do see like a barrel of some sort of alcohol, as well as some bottles, and we'll welcome. It's like, well, hi, hello. My name is Sally Cedar. Are you guys here for a meal and some rooms, or should I And there's like a sense of kind of like uncertainty seeing this giant, hulkish man kind of walk in. How do we describe it? The tallest you could be for a medium creature. So somewhere, some nebulous number, but you probably have to like bend in to enter the place, and just
yeah, I mean, like we're talking like he could be an NBA star, so like 6'9", and then you got the boots on him, so like 7'2" with boots or something. I mean, we're talking pretty big, yeah.
5-inch boots, maybe not 5-inch boots, but
No,
I get the idea.
But yeah,
Yeah, you're probably somewhere between like 6'10" to 7'2" in height. But you walk into but you can have this table here. So one room. Oh, there's three of you.
Yes,
two.
we'll need 3 rooms.
Three room. Okay.
No, I suppose we could get away with 2, as long as that's all right with you, Demira. To share a room with my aide.
That's fine.
All right. So 2 rooms will do, and then of course we definitely need something warm to eat right now, and then breakfast and possibly lunch. Yes, I think lunch tomorrow.
Okay. Perfect. We have some stew. It is still being made. It'll be done in about 20. Can I get you something to drink, or let me get you your room keys. We'll put you in. We have. I'm sure the bed will fit. Okay. Okay. Here, and she begins to like shuffle through a key ring and hands it to you.
All right, I take the keys, handing Demira, right? That's how it said. All right, so I hand one of the keys to Demira, and I've got the other. And then I pull out the 2 chairs at the table for the 2 ladies to sit before walking around and dragging over a 3rd chair and sitting down at the table with them.
As for drinks, I think something non-alcoholic would be good. Something sweet if you have it, but definitely warm and caffeinated. Yes.
We can put on a pot of tea, or if you want something sweet, there is a bottle of mead that came in from 10 Towns several months ago. No one has drank it since. But someone of your taste would certainly like this drink. I'll just go get put a pot of tea on. Okay. Okay. Bye.
Yes, that'll be just fine. Some tea with a bit of honey. Is that all right with the 2 of you?
Demira nods.
All right. Good. Tea with a bit of the honey. Before you go, is there anywhere to pray in this little town of yours?
Yes, you can go see Wallace down in the church, just down the street and to your right. You can't miss it. If you want to.
Good. I'll wait for the warm meal first. And go ahead and how much for that mead? You said it's in a casket still? How much for that?
Yes, it's a bottle. Just kind of looks at it's like just maybe a silver piece.
All right. Bring the bottle, but keep it corked.
Oh, of course.
I look over at the young ladies with me.
I'm sure the clergy will enjoy the drink, sort of offering.
And then he just waits for the foods and drinks to come. And
yeah, absolutely. So you get the food. You guys can have this meal. You hear some rambunctious laughter coming from the other table between the 2 men there. You can overhear the conversation if you want, but most of it is kind of like a small talk and jokes. They
I'm
seem
only
to,
interested if there's a plot hook.
they do. Thank God. That's the right answer. They do begin to talk about concerns about the crop, and they're talking about that there is a cave in the forest that they might explore, that so they can cultivate some mushrooms, acting as a as a kind of a fungus option for them if they need it.
Interesting. Yeah, that's kind of what I was suggesting to the young boy, the farmer boy, was to get a nighttime crop. So
We can call this a side quest.
yeah, I'm going to turn to the two gentlemen talking.
I couldn't help but overhearing your conversation. I do apologize. I'm not tending to be rude, but we're new to the area, and this cave sounds interesting, worth checking out. If you could tell me where it is, I would be more than interested to go check it out, and while I'm there, get some mushrooms for you farmers.
One guy kind of turns over and goes, "What? Oh, I mean, there's only really one cave in the Vagabond Forest. If you just head, there's a trail take you north. I'm directionally challenged, northwest, and head that direction. But if you're heading there, we can use a couple of favors if you want to explore the forest. It's kind of there. We've had some people missing that you might want to look into.
People missing
Yeah,
around the cave?
no, just in the forest. It's been about well, it happened when the sun disappeared, so we're just kind of concerned.
No, I could understand why you would be concerned. Is there a bounty yet on anything in the wood?
Well, we sent a missive to Kolor and House Beaumont, but we have
House
not.
Beaumont, pah. It'll take forever for them to send someone out here. You're a small town.
Yeah, but that's all we have. We've sent who we can to look for them, but we haven't found anything back. But maybe a day after the eclipse happened, Walter's son was having images of this woman dancing on Luna Lake while he was trying to fish, and then he went out to head there again the second day, and we just haven't seen him since.
Walter, that's the priest, yes?
Walter has a farm, unless I misnamed my Wallace is the priest.
Oh, I see. They're so similarly named. All right.
They're siblings, I guess.
All right. Well, we'll deal with the mushroom situation, and I guess looking into some missing people. And then when I come back, we can discuss reward if any's even needed at that point.
Walter has some gold that we were offering House Beaumont. I'm sure that money can be given to you if you solve the problem. I don't speak for him, though. If you want to go talk to him, his farm is directly to... you go out the door, take a left, you can head to the farm pretty quick.
All right. I think I'll head to the clergy first, though. But thank you for your information.
And then he's going to turn to the two ladies and...
Now that you have your food and drink, you've got your room key, I think you two are set, yes?
Yes, of course.
All right. Well, I'm going to take my soup on the go and visit this clergyman. You two be safe. I'll be back soon.
And at that, he's going to stand up, grab the bowl of soup, grab the mead bottle, and drink the bowl of soup like it's a drink while he heads out the door. with the closed to be bottle.
Uh,
And
this,
he's gonna head to the church.
yeah, this one is probably actually made from a stock, so it's a little salty but pretty tasty. You head around there, and we'll say that as you so the door to the church is always slightly ajar. It's not fully open because it is raining. So when Doc and Misty entered in, they walked in through just a slightly ajar door where you saw this man. But you see an armored man kind of sitting there. He has a book in front of him now. His meal is finished as Bork will be at the door and hears him say, "Oh, I'm sorry. Would you like some more stew? Miss, I don't think I caught your name." Directing towards Misty as she goes and finds him.
My name doesn't matter. Listen, I have a question to you. Have you ever seen something like that? I'm like showing it to him.
Okay. I think before you do that, you can kind of tell that there's a person at the door. So I don't know if you want to be more cautious about it.
Oh, yeah. If I see that there's someone, so I will be like about to open, and then I would like perhaps next time. I would go back to Doc.
At that point, I would knock on the door frame.
It's like, oh, come in. I think
Hello,
it is deeper.
hello. Good evening. I bring mead.
He's like, oh. And I think I can't imagine that Bork's voice doesn't carry up to Doc's
No,
Doc's
it's
quarters.
rather deep and boisterous.
But so he can hear that as well. It's like, oh, come in. We don't have any rooms, but we'll take the offering if you want to share a drink and discuss whatever's on your mind.
Yes, I've come to give you mead as an offering, but beyond that, I'm just here for some prayer and chit-chat.
Like, oh, okay, we have some space. If you go into the back room, you can.
I hand him the bottle.
You can see some altars to whichever god you choose, and there's like a back room. There's some like, it is like, how do I want to describe it? Like a it's very vague. It's very, very small. It has like holy symbols all around you, and there's really only room for maybe 2 people to stand in there at any given time. But it has all the proper symbolism that you would want.
All right. Having given him the bottle of mead to enjoy, I will turn to him and be like,
I'm not sure if you would like to lead me in prayer, or perhaps one of your acolytes.
I motion toward the young woman standing there.
It's like, oh, this is our esteemed guests. They have requested shelter in the church, and we try never to turn down a fellow. There's someone upstairs that said that he was from the Church of Soul. If you want to knock on his door, a small halfling fellow.
I don't mean to disturb anyone, of course, but feel free to enjoy the mead you and your guests purchased specifically for you and your church. So, I guess I'll head in and pray then, if you want to lead it, or you're too busy with your guests. I understand.
Well, me and this young lady was having a brief discussion. Once I conclude with that, I'll gladly come pray with you.
Sounds good. And then afterwards we can talk about the missing people.
Yes, my now brother is missing a son. But we can have that discussion in a second.
I nod at him and walk into the tiny little prayer room and begin to pray to all the gods.
At the same time?
At the same time. He's
Okay.
just, because I imagine being a merchant family that came from legal pirating, they're kind of like, whatever God will listen. They're those kind of people. They're like, I'll pray to this one, and then this one, and then I got this one here. Which one will work?
Fair enough. We'll go to Doc real quick. Doc, what are you up to with this boisterous sound coming from downstairs?
So he's probably he's probably just sitting on his bed eating his stew, and he's not so much listening exactly to what the words are that are being said, because I don't think he could make them out, but he's sort of listening to tone instead. Just making sure that no scuffle breaks out downstairs when this new person arrives for whatever reason.
Mhm.
And, yeah, I guess he kind of just listens, but when nothing really of interest happens, he kind of just goes back to his stew and waits for Misty to come back.
Okay. Demira, you are sitting down at this table, getting served this food, probably of a little less quality than both you and Bork are used to, and you just kind of are sitting there, and you just have this itch on your right shoulder, just feeling like just you want to it's like it's unignorable. We'll say it that way.
Demir will excuse herself to like a restroom area, and then she'll like pull down her robes to look at it.
Okay. So you go to yeah, there's probably a washroom. That makes perfect sense, right? You go to a washroom, see the tub, see the mirror, and kind of, or I guess you can just kind of look down at it if you wanted to. You pull down your shoulder to see this mark of what appears to be a leaf. Just this kind of autumn leaf, brown orange just in color. And it almost looks like it's swaying slightly. You kind of turn left and right as the leaf almost has movement. It's not moving from down your body or anything like that, but it does. You can sense the movement in the artwork. Orange, brownish orange in color, and it just itches. Pause right there for a second. Misty, you notice this tattoo, and you just start to feel a slight burning sensation. Not like so painful it's hard to so painful it's hurting. It's like this sort of like burning achiness. It's like if you put some sort of like icy hot on your shoulder, and you can kind of get that like cold burn. That is kind of sensation, like frostbite or something. I live in California. I don't get frostbite, but the that just slight like cold burn.
Got it. Is the man still with me, like in the?
Yep.
In the same hall.
We'll
So,
say-
and the. Mhm.
We'll say that Bork is now in the back room, and you are alone with this man. I mean, alone as in no one else is in the room, but you know, Doc is upstairs and Bork is right there.
So then I would like to try and again approach him because we're alone. And one more time now without like saying what I'm coming for, because he knows I would just come to him and I would try to show him my shoulder. And then I would add, like, it's getting annoying.
So he sees the skull, and he does one of those like look left to look right as The eyes follow him. It's like, well, I don't know very much about this, but it's a symbol of some sort. It's a very nice tattoo, I guess. It's very well designed. If you like tattoos.
I never made it. It was a wound before.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am sure.
Both Demira and Misty, that sensation, that burning and that itching, intensifies at this point.
It's really getting annoying. Then I will start mumbling to him.
Doc, you sense magic in the air.
I don't know why, but I imagine it to like have the smell of ozone.
That
It's just like smells like ozone all around him suddenly.
Can Demira try to read aura on the mark?
sure. You go ahead and make that check. Doc, did you want to make a check as well?
Sure, what am I checking?
Religion or Arcana, or occult. I'll take occult too.
Wow.
You focus on the target object. Opening your eye when casting is complete. You know whether the item is. This tattoo is magical. It is. Do you know properties?
Oh, the School of Magic.
There is no school of magic.
It is divine.
It is all magic. School of magic is like divine or occult, right? Is that how we describe school of magics, or is this the evocation thing?
It could be like a universal, I guess.
It is magical. I don't think there is a school of magic assigned to it. Maybe like a transmutation, because it changed your skin to have a tattoo on it. Probably be the closest thing you get. But that tells you how the tattoo got there, not necessarily the trait of the tattoo. The trait of the tattoo is just simply magic. Did that help? I don't know if that helped, but that's what you got. Doc, you sense this magic, and you get a heavy sense of both Fey energy as well as shadow energy. Both of them like just fierce and like intensifying as moments go by. I want you to give me a perception check. I'll take a perception check from both Bork and Doc.
Not bad, not bad.
Okay. Doc, as you look out the window, you do know that there is a graveyard behind the church. As we begin to see the graves just kind of shake a little bit as we see a skeletal creature appear just right outside your window.
Oh crap. It's probably exactly what Doc says. And puts the soup down and grabs his.
I'll give this to Bork as well. You are in this back room, and then there is a bush right behind the building.
Okay.
And you can hear it rustling.
All right. Hearing the rustle, he's gonna go look just because he's curious. He's thinking maybe it's one of those kids, so he's gonna go look, intending to surprise them, to scare them.
Okay.
So he's got a big goofy smile on his face as he sneaks over to the window, all like hee hee hee.
You look over and see two skeletons walking up.
And he goes, "Oh."
Let's cut back to Demira. You're in the washroom. You cast a read aura spell. What would you like to do?
I guess she's just gonna go find Bork and try to tell him that something is happening, something's wrong. So she's gonna head to the church.
Perfect. We'll start you right at this this crossroads here. You can take one of those 4 squares as you choose. Misty, feeling pain in that that shoulder. You said something like it's getting worse. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Like, well, we can try to look into it. And he like goes over, takes this giant tome, and it's like a history of the Shadowlands or some for dummies probably, and plops it on the table, and it's like, okay, and he starts like flipping through pages. At this point, I imagine Bork the Orc leaves the prayer room from timeline wise.
He'd be walking out of the prayer room at this point, having seen skeletons, and he's slowly bringing his weapon from around him to in front of him, but he's not banishing it because he doesn't want to scare the people inside and make them think he's like going orc on them. So, but he has slid it off his back,
Going orc,
and is kind of dragging it slightly behind him as he's got it in his hand, at his side with his hands ready to swing and attack when necessary.
Okay.
And as he comes out of the room, he turns to the people that are there. I don't know who all is right there, but he turns to them and says,
We have company, and they're not the nice kind.
Okay. I think at this point we're going to head into initiative. You guys don't have to participate in this combat. You guys can back up. You guys can run, but we are here. Please go ahead and roll for me.
Where in it?
We're on the negative 100th round.
Don't know how that happened.
It'll stay that way until we actually hit the start the round button, and then it'll populate the appropriate round. Where is it?
It's
By perception.
There it is. Yes.
You have a 0 initiative. I don't find that to be possible.
Yet it is.
That's not what I wanted to do.
It's because I have armor
What's your
on,
wisdom score?
and then I have clumsy, and then I have no wisdom at all.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So, because like all my things are in strength, constitution, and charisma. Those are my strength and con being my big ones, and then charisma being my secondary.
Wait, don't you not get the clumsy though if you have enough strength to meet the strength score of your armor?
Correct.
No, the clumsy is actually
Maybe not.
because of the weapon.
Ah,
That's what's giving me clumsy. I have plenty enough strength to knock out clumsy from the armor, but I get clumsy 1 because I'm using a giant sword.
are you not trained in initiative
Or perception.
or perception? Yeah, because being trained in it should give you your level +2, so you should have a minimum of 3, and then applied penalties beyond that. And clumsy doesn't apply penalties to.
We'll not worry about this now. So
I thought we
Demir,
were learning the system, bro.
as far as like editing his character sheet,
Okay,
we won't worry about the because regardless he's still going first. So
Right.
I think we're okay there. Demir, you can put yourself
Add
up
2
here.
more points for me for initiative, ancestry feed, because I usually roll, but you need to always add 2.
Right. Got it. Okay. Bork, you for stacked.
All right. Give me just a quick second, real quick.
Got it?
A second. Okay. Oh, what are you?
That would be the bush you heard moving. But we'll get to
Oh.
that in a second.
There. And while
One action to move.
While I'm actioning to move, I'm going to attempt a diplomacy to boost morale.
Nice.
Don't worry, we've got this. They're nothing compared to us. Have at thee!
As I start moving out there. And then my last action is going to be to move to there, and that's it.
Let me look up the boost morale thing. Do you have the wording for it?
Let me hold on. Morale. I think it's just morale. Let's see. Skills. I'm not seeing skills. Hold on.
We got gather information, make an impression.
Oh no, I meant I'm trying to find it in the book is what I was trying to say. Cause it would be under
Learning a new
diplomacy. Demoralize.
Because we have demoralized. I have that one.
Mm-hmm. I thought there was moralize as well, but I guess not. Make an impression?
There's something called morale bonuses to bards.
Make an impression.
With at least 1 minute of conversation. So that's more about changing attitude.
Correct.
Okay. Oh, well.
You have a third action if you want to take it then.
All right. Well, then, can I assume that I could take that last 5-foot step as part of that second action that I stopped 10 feet shy?
Sure.
All right. And then I'm going to rage out as I'm charging at the guy. And I'm going to hit him with my sword in full rage.
An 8 will miss.
Blast.
Nice. So you come charging in as we used earlier. You orc out, swing this sword up as you raise it up, put the thing down, chop off an arm, but he doesn't appear to be affected at all by it.
Okay.
Cool. Misty, your left shoulder has this burning sensation. You see Bork the orc run out, say some sort of influential thing, saying that we have this, but not quite sure what the enemy is, but there is some threats that at least Bork the Orc perceives.
These are windows, right? Like these like yellowish things on the wall, right?
Correct.
So I would see when he runs through here, like through the window, I would see that he's running this direction here on the side. So then I would like to go to this window and take a look what's going on.
Sure.
First here.
Yeah. So you see a orc carrying a greatsword trying to swing down onto a skeleton.
Then I see that I look at Doc where I know that he's supposed to be, and I would kind of shout out for him. I think we should go.
Okay. Any other action?
No.
Cool. This skeleton's going to move forward, seeing Bork the Orc here, and we are going to, using one move action there, we are going to try to claw. I did not roll to hit. 17 to hit. Miss. All right. And he's going to take a second attack at a -4, which will make this a 4 to hit.
Definitely a miss.
All right. So this creature comes for you, kind of like jingles. You can hear the rattling of the skeletal thing, probably with some like a decomposed skin on various parts of the body as he comes in, and he's just going to try to like hit you with his arm, but just kind of ding off your armor.
Okay.
Demira, you are also aware that Bork the Orc said we have company, and moved. You probably saw him run out the door and move around the corner too when we start the initiative. So what would you like to do?
Yeah, she's going to use 2 movements to run after him. And when she sees these skeletons attacking him, let's see. Let me see how far away they are. She is going to use a spell on one of the skeletons that's attacking.
Phantom Pain. This one has a somatic and verbal component, so normally it's going to take 2 actions to cast this.
Okay, then she'll use a cantrip instead.
Okay.
Wait, so somatic and verbal take 2 actions?
Correct. So every aspect of spell casting requires an action. So there's a somatic part, it's 1 action. If there's somatic and verbal, there's 2. Somatic, verbal, and material will technically be a 3-action spell.
Okay, then. That's weird, because...
I could be wrong. I admit that.
Usually the spell will tell you how many actions it takes to cast.
Yeah, but the macro doesn't specifically state.
What's the spell in question?
Phantom Pain.
And that's a
Level 1 spell.
Phantom Pain costs 2 actions and has a range of 30 feet and targets 1 creature.
So 2 actions for that one.
Okay.
I don't think it would have applied anyway.
Instead, she'll...
Undead.
Yeah. Instead, she'll call out to Bork.
Cool.
She'll just say, Bork, my mark, it's acting up, so I came here. I'll get in there and help you in just a few moments.
And knowing your betrothed is behind you inspires you. So you have a +1. Nice. Anything else? That's 3 actions.
That's their actions.
Cool. Bork, you see that this bush next to you that you heard kind of shaking, jumps out, and there's a small green leshy creature, something that you know is inherently fey. Demira can see the creature jump out as well. Take 1 action to move up here, and this leshy is going to poke you with a spear. 16 to hit.
Nope.
Alright. We'll take the second attack at a -5. Nope. Alright, so this will take us to Doc.
So Doc, hearing Misty call for him, just kind of like not real casually walks down the stairs, but he's not exactly in a huge hurry. He gets down and he's like, "It's just a pair of undead. It's no big deal."
Okay. Is that...
There's 1 movement. And this is when he sees Demira, and beyond her, a person engaged with undead. Well, he doesn't have anything he can do from this range, so he'll use another move action to get closer. Yeah, there looks good.
Got it.
And his third action will be... I don't think I have any 1-action cantrips.
Guidance?
I actually don't have guidance.
Intimidation
Well, let me
is
look at
a single action. You could intimidate the leshy.
The halfling
Is it?
creature?
I'm more of a diplomacy kind of person, but my charisma's alright, so we could give it a shot. Sure, let's try and intimidate the leshy. Back off, or I'll turn you into more stew. Yeah, it went about how I thought it would.
Demoralize. You are attacking his will DC, which is higher than 6. Alright, cool. The best combat tactic is to run away. True story. Anything else, Doc?
No, that'll do it.
Alright, this skeletal creature that you chopped off his arm to no real avail is going to try to do the same thing. He's just gonna claw at you over and over again. 15 will miss. Second attack? She'll be an 18. Sorry, and
That one hits.
nice. Takes 3 damage.
Yep.
And third attack.
Oh no, now I only have 1 temporary HP.
And now you are at 11. 11 to hit here, so that will miss as well.
Okay.
Which will take us to the new round. Bork, you are up.
Alright. I'm not quite sure why the API is malfunctioning. I'll have to look at that some other time. But for now, I am going to... I'm going to be using a combination of things. I'm going to be using a barbarian feat called Raging Intimidation, which allows me to intimidate while raging.
Terrifying.
Combined. And then I'm going to combine it with my general feat, Intimidating Glare, which means I don't even have to speak to it. It doesn't even need to understand me. So I am going to look at the Leshy and give it a look of murderous intent, whilst then
Nice.
hopefully killing one of the skeletons as my second action.
Oh,
Which
crit
I am
damage.
actually. You tell me if that hits. Does 16 hit?
16 will hit.
All right. Is it still standing?
What kind of damage is this? Slashing?
My weapon is versatile. I'm
Good.
capable of doing slashing and piercing, and in this case, since there's no flesh to slash, I'm going to attempt to pierce its head.
All right. So this is 14 damage with the 14 damage. It does have resistance, but you're able to pierce its head. Would you like to describe the kill?
It's a kill? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Skeletons.
So I'm looking straight at the Lushy as I then take my sword in hand, bring it back to my side, still staring at the Slushy, jab my giant sword forward, square into the maw of the skeleton. Then when I yank back the sword to my side, the skeleton's head is still sitting on the tip of my sword while I'm still staring at the Lushy with murderous intent, and take my third action, which is to swing. This time I'll be doing slashing. Swing my giant sword with the skeleton head still attached to the tip at the other skeleton.
So that's 19 to hit, or 20 to hit with the Inspire Courage, and for 16 damage, which will also destroy this one.
I'm pretty sure that Lushy is going to be kind of scared now.
Just a little bit.
Stare at him and kill his two friends with an intimidation of 21.
So when that second skeleton drops, it sort of bursts into several rays of a dark energy that, for a brief moment, looks like it's gonna slam into Bork before it sort of curves around him and flows into Doc as he uses Death's Call.
Get temp HP, is that correct?
Yeah.
Nice.
Which is 4 plus its level doubled because it's undead.
Nice.
The -1. So 3 plus so 6? 6 total.
Yes. 6 total.
Nice.
Thanks for the boost, big man.
Terrifying.
Free action, I just give him a thumbs up with a smile.
Okay, Misty, you were still looking from the window. You can see both Doc and Bork engaging with these people. Some sort of black energy going to Doc, and Bork swinging a sword. You can hear Demira in the corner, but you haven't met Demira yet.
Mm. So I see how Bork quite easily destroys two skeletons, right?
Hmm?
Do I see that other creature, or the bush or the tree is hiding it from my sight through the window?
You can see it.
I can see it. Does it look like it's going to attack Borg? What's its reaction towards
It's
Borg
scared.
with the sight?
That's what it is. It's like, oh my god!
It's probably shaking, I would imagine. You can look at it and try try to read it, and there's like his eyes are wide. He's like leaning back slightly as this giant 7 foot something creature is standing in front of him.
I think that at that case, I would think that combat is over. Like, there's no danger. I
No
handled
threat,
it
yeah.
quite easily. So I would go back to, I'm selfish. Something is wrong with my shoulder. I will go back to see what's going on, basically, with the guy who was supposed to figure it out.
Okay, just going back to a conversation with him.
Yeah.
He's probably trying to gear up at this moment. Grab a sword out of a chest, and all this combat is persisting. Skeletal guard is dead. Demira, you're up.
Demira will move a little closer. Does this creature react to her at all?
So you walk up and he will make eye contact, but he won't do anything until his turn.
Okay.
Am I allowed to make a statement at all, like a free action, quick little during out of turn, or?
Sure, like a small quip. We can go for that.
Yeah, like a real quick. How would he word this?
Take it alive!
I think would fit. Kind of like it. Yeah, that's all he would say.
Okay, she's going to try to daze the creature. So she starts. She pulls out. She has her glass ball. She starts chanting quietly, and it glows. And this like lightning sort of, kind of, streak of white goes towards the creature.
Okay, yeah, perfect. And this does what kind of damage? Mental damage. So, you go ahead and do this little jolt as it just kind of like it's scared, and then immediately as he does, begins to kind of rub its head, and kind of looks around, trying to get its bearings.
Okay.
The creature looks towards Demira, trying to do this, and like this creature makes eye contact with you, like almost a sense of recognition for a second, kind of steals his resolve, and will attempt to strike at Bork. I believe he has a minus ongoing for a round because of frightened, so he'll make this at a -1. Miss. So miss real bad. So what he's going to do is he's going to kind of look around, and then he is going to turn to a tree. And we're out of combat for this.
He turned himself into a tree.
Turning himself into a tree.
Okay. And we're out of combat now.
We're out of combat, and you're looking at a tree.
I am gonna grab the tree with one hand, still holding the giant sword in the other hand, and I am going to yell, because I'm still raging, at a tree. All right, here we go.
Tell me what I want to know, or I'll turn you into Kindle.
At this point, I think the priest here has a sword out, kind of looks over towards the window and just sees Bork shaking a tree. I'll give everyone else a chance to react before we get into this scene.
The mirror reaches over and kind of puts a hand on Bork. Not really, very cautiously, and says, "It seems like it recognized me." And she looks at the tree. "Did you need something?"
Doc, would you like to do something?
Doc he's like partially interested in the tree, but he kind of comes over here and like pokes at the remains of these skeletons with his bare foot just to make sure that they're not playing possum.
Okay. Misty.
So I would look at the man who rushes to the window, and I would say to him, "Hey, they're done. They handled it. Can we come back to this problem?"
Okay. So I think we will fade to black with this very, very Pocahontas-esque, where like this face appears in the base of the tree, as we can see this small greenish creature, greenish skin, kind of this wide smile kind of appear. Hello, fate marked, looking to Demira, and we will fade to black.
Nice.
I need to work on. I have a chipmunk voice. Wait, let me let's see. Let's see if this ruins immersion or not. Ready?
Hello, fate mark.
No, we won't do that one. All right. So.
This one.
Oh God.
This one's a good one. I got that one too.
With the somber music playing in the background. All right, so we have run late today because we started late, but you can check out all our information down below, and we are going to close out very, very quickly. Go ahead and join our Discord, check our show notes, so we have plenty of information to check out other shows. Otherwise, we are heading out. See you next week. We will have another session or two before our holiday vacation. And if you have any questions, join the Discord and somebody will be there to answer it. Catch you on the flip side.